Hi everybody, how you doing? Um, it's been a while since I made a video, and there was a couple things that have been on my mind, and so I thought it was time to share them. Um, One of the things, a theme that I keep having ring in my head, is about the power of acceptance. Um, When I learned about acceptance and commitment therapy, um, and managing pain, it was revolutionary. It truly was revolutionary to me to think about living with pain and living with pain. Um, I used to just get by, I was in bed. It hurt. I slowed down to the point of stopping because of pain. When I gained some acceptance that the pain's not going to go away, likely. I mean, it hasn't in a lot of years. So, what's important and how badly do I want it? um, that's where the acceptance part comes in, and there is a lot of power in that. There is a lot of power in accepting that, yeah, this is my set of circumstances right now today. But what do I want? What is it worth to me to commit to doing something different, or to commit to doing something even though it's uncomfortable or it hurts? You know, um, in the various rooms of people that are coming off medications, it's a very difficult thing. And a trend that seems to be prevalent is, what can I take to make this go away? To make this not hurt so bad? And I'm here to tell you that in my experience, over many years of being on and off medications and going through that withdrawal process, and then here in the last 2.5 years, more than 2.5 years, going through significant documented withdrawals, nothing eliminates the symptoms. Benadryl, magnesium, Advil, blah, blah, blah. The things that help are changes in lifestyle. Like a really, I'm a big proponent of an organic diet, and as local as possible. Just because then you don't have to worry about, does this or that affect my system, because those chemicals aren't going to be in your food if it's organic and it's grown locally, and the farmer, or you can see the source. So that's pretty important. you know uh Cutting out sugar and grains, an abundance of grains that we know, that like wheat, and corn, they cause inflammation. So you can, affect your symptoms, pain anyway, by changing some dietary practices. But the reality is, if you suffer from chronic pain, and it is from something that is not just inflammation, but that is structural, possibly, you might not be able to eliminate that 100%. So then you have to go, okay, it hurts when I do this and this and this and this. Like for me, driving, being in a car for a long period of time, that hurts. So when I want or have a desire to see somebody or travel, I have to weigh, and I have to come to an acceptance that, yep, it's going to hurt. But it's the only way that I can see these people, or it's the only way I can participate in this event. And that's really important to me. And so I'll deal with the hurt. That's how it was in some ways coming off medications. Coming off benzodiazepines really hurt. It really hurt. And yes, I had cannabis. I'm really grateful I had cannabis. I had FECO. This is FECO. This is, that's black, tarry, sticky, wonderful medicine that's made with the whole plant. And I make it into these, pardon me. I use coconut oil and I make it into these capsules. And I have a vape pen, and I'm really grateful. I didn't have this for a long time, and I have this now, and I like it for breakthrough pain. But this is the only medicine that I have anymore, and it does help with inflammation. Studies show that it does help with inflammation, and it does help with pain. And I have enough evidence in my own personal life to say it works, because I'm up out of bed every day, and I wasn't for a long time, even though I was taking all these medications that were supposed to be making me better. So just think about that. Think about having some acceptance. If I were to come off medications and do it all over again, I would want to do the acceptance and commitment therapy education piece beforehand. I'd want to have those skills. And probably some cognitive behavior therapy skill building as well. And meditation, having some skills can really help with the symptoms that we have to have acceptance around. Then you can at least feel like you're doing something about them. And those, I'm not saying don't try anything, but if you do try something, recognize it all comes with a risk. The same with cannabis. I always tell people when I'm sharing about my experience with cannabis and sharing that it's a viable option, I always tell them, slow is best. Slow and steady wins the race with coming off of medications and with building up your endocannabinoid system in your body with cannabis. Go slow. Try different strains. Find out what works for you for what. And then build on that. But, know that there's a risk, Typically with cannabis, your risk is, a few 3, 6, 8, 10 hours of feeling uncomfortable, however that looks for you. And then it wears off. Most all the time. And it's the same if you were prescribed a medication and you had an unwanted effect. Typically, not always, but typically, that bad effect wears off within a few hours, like the medication wears off. Like if you take an opiate and you're opiate naive, you get a queasy stomach and you might even vomit. I mean, that's very, very common. And you might go, oh God, I don't like this. Okay, well, we'll try something else, and we'll try to help your pain another way. But we can't completely eliminate the vomiting unless we give you this other medication, but that's going to make you so drowsy you can't do anything. So that's how it goes. There's always a risk of it not of it either creating another symptom to deal with, a side effect, or not working very well. So, there's a lot of fear around coming off medications. And that's another place that acceptance can help, and having a real good grasp before you start your taper of what can come to be, and going, okay, I see this is going to be a very challenging endeavor. However, I'm sick because of this side effect I'm having, or it's not working, or I can't think, or I can't sleep and I keep taking more, or whatever it is. Gain that acceptance in advance and gather around your helpers in advance and tell them, I'm going to go through something super, super hard. Are you in? Are you in or out? Because I need to know, because I need to have a good, strong team. But that fear, if you're prepared in advance and have an acceptance that these crazy things are going to happen in your body and in your mind, and you can kind of go, okay, we're going to just roll with this the best we can. We're going to reach out to our peers and the people we know and trust and have watched that are doing well, and we're going to hang on to the hand that they extend, because there are many people in our groups that extend hands on a regular basis and say, come along, I will help you. Please listen. Please be willing to take suggestions. Please be willing to do something different, because the fact is, those of us that are further along, and you tell us how horrible it is, we know. And so then when we tell you some things that worked for us, please listen, and please be willing to try to do, and I'm not saying try, think about it. I mean, try do the things that are suggested to you by the peers that you're asking for help. Because just, constantly telling us how bad it is and constantly asking for us to fix it, we can't. And we want to help, and we're trying to help, but we can't take the symptoms away, and we can't make it go faster, and there's no magic pill. There's not a magic fix. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Because I would give everybody that magic pill if there was one, or I would give them that strain, or I would give them that hug, or whatever, but it's just, there isn't anything. And that's just kind of how life is. There's things that hurt really bad, and there's things that go wrong really bad, and nobody else can fix them. You just have to go through them. And that's where skills come in. That's where being able to ground yourself and be in reality and be in the moment can really save the day. That's where meditating and getting yourself centered and really having a defined concept of what you can do and what you can't do, and then being willing to do what you can do. I do wish I could fix it for everybody. It's a bad thing in me, because that's one of the things I'm working on, is I would like to fix it for you all, but Just like no one could fix it for me, I can't fix it for y'all. But I can tell you my little tips. I can tell you what I've learned. And you can take it and use it. Or you can just go, oh, well, there's that crazy Debbie. She's off there just yabbering away, talking about, cannabis and coming off medications and survival and overcoming. Because that's kind of what I talk about. Anyway, couple other little notes that I have here, that things that have, I watch you all, and I listen, and I care, and I try to offer good suggestions, and I try to offer encouragement, and I just try to be as supportive as I can. And so, little things over time kind of stick in my head. And so this video is just about a whole bunch of things that have just been kind of circulating through on the social media pages and in different conversations with people. And then it sparks this thought that gets going in my head. And so on to another kind of topic is on the prescribing of psych drugs in the hospital. A lot of people that I know that are attempting to discontinue a medication or taper off a medication, some of us end up in the psych unit, like myself. And people end up there, and that's the beginnings of them being on some of these medications, is because they were in a psych unit. And I have been hospitalized 4 times plus inpatient treatment, twice for gambling, but they medicate you there too. And this is my thought on that is, they do really fast increases. They tried me on 25 milligrams of Seroquel, and within 4 days later, I was on 150 milligrams. Because I didn't get the desired effect that they wanted, which was me comatose. Now, how is that good? How is me comatose good? And then they send me to being homeless. I mean, think about this, folks. Oh, there's something wrong here. It's something seriously wrong. They don't take into consideration the interactions from medications you're on. I mean, they have their algorithms and their books, but they don't sit and talk to you about what medications you've been on and off and how they've affected you, and if that is part of the whole process that why you're hospitalized or anything. They don't evaluate that at all. They just, oh, you're not sleeping. Okay, first we tried this. Okay, so then we tried this. And okay, so, well, we're going to increase the dose on this because, man, when we get you knocked out, then you're sleeping. Okay, but when it's for 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day, and I'm barely able to check in the other couple hours, yeah, that's... Sorry, I can't get my head to wrap around that's living, that's having a life. Doesn't work for me. They also, like I said, they give you these new medications and they send you on your way and say, see your outside provider. And if you're not exhibiting the symptoms that put you into the hospital, meaning you aren't psychotic or you aren't suicidal or you aren't homicidal, they figure they're working. And your symptoms and side effects don't mean crap. Yeah, so you have diarrhea. But, you're not, wanting to kill yourself. Then, but often with these meds, as you've had them, that does become a problem. And another thing about the prescribing of psychiatric drugs in the hospital and outside the hospital. So you go in the hospital and you're having a crisis and they give you all these medications so you don't kill yourself and you don't kill anybody else and you aren't psychotic. Because that's what they're trying to prevent. It's those three things primarily. So you're not of harm to others or yourself in any way. That's the goal. So they give you all these meds, keep you kind of comatose, get you kind of, at a lower functioning human level, and send you on your way. So the crisis is over, and you're functioning at a less than desirable level of living. You're just kind of subsisting. They never talk about discontinuing or lowering dosages, ever. In 25 years of having medications given to me for various conditions, opiates, benzodiazepines, antidepressants, antipsychotics, things like Benadryl, and things like anti-inflammatories, and things like Zyrtec for my allergies. No one ever, even if my symptoms were doing good, everything, no one ever said, would you consider lowering your dose? Maybe you don't need this medicine anymore. Never. It doesn't happen. The only time that I have ever stopped the medication that's been prescribed for a routine basis has been if I have initiated it. That included opiates. Now, yeah, they're changing because people are dying. Hello, I was an example for many people of, I didn't die, but I showed that it's not good. They have their statistics. I was a statistic in some ways. Gratefully, I'm still alive. But no one said, maybe we should cut back your dose. Never. Never. Not for any medication. Think about that. Think about when you get prescribed something, and think about when it becomes to where you aren't prescribed it. Anyway, those are things that have been circulating in my thoughts as I continue to heal. If they help you, I'm glad. If you think that it was not worth your time, I apologize. Don't watch the next one. I care about people that have suffered from the effects of medications and have suffered even worse from what they had to go through coming off those medications when they become toxic. I have a big heart for you people because I've been there and I know. So I just try to share what I know and hoping it might help one person. And if it does, that's awesome. My day's been made. Anyway, remember to breathe. Always remember to breathe. If you're breathing and you're not bleeding, you're still living. So go live. In spite of all of it, go live. Be glad you're alive. You have an opportunity every day. All right? Peace.